Under me, there's 700 horses of man and machine. They're full wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green.
All right, good evening, everyone, and please let me know what you think about the noise level here. It's a little warm here, so I got a couple fans running, but hopefully that doesn't impact the audio quality from my mic standpoint as we get ready for the qualifying here at Huset's. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Huset's, Hussett, I'm not sure exactly what it is. I want to say it's Huset's. We see Glenn Sharp coming out there on track. Got to stay on that apron until you get that blue cone. Once you get there, you can hit the hammer and down and away, down there through turn 3 and 4, out here onto the front stretch. Trying to get to where we have the tower here, but for some reason the tower's wanting to be a little pain in the butt tonight and not wanting to show up. Not exactly sure why. Go ahead and close this down for a moment. And close this down too. Try to see if we can get it to line up here as they get driving and getting out here for the start of qualifying. We saw one driver make it through. Just waiting on the others to come through as well. There we go. Got it there. Now we just got to get it over here. We're set, getting ready to rock and roll here from Houston. Not really seeing anybody else out on track, so qualifying times look to have come in pretty quickly as we're getting ready here for the show. Heat number 1 on the grid. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. The grid for heat number 1. It's Harold Klump out there on row number 1. Starting on pole with Trevor Guru there in second. Mike Brewer there in third. Sam Bachman will roll off tonight in fourth. Kurt Schatzer there fifth with Jeff Barker sixth. Brian Moore finishes out there in seventh tonight for heat number 1. Something else isn't activated, so we got to might see some cars kind of disappear with their paint, come back. Didn't quite have the one program opened up for some reason. Now you might see that here in a moment as they come back around here off of turn number 2, back out onto that backstretch. Pace car's going to pull in this time off of turn number 4. Now you see there they go. There's that number 2 coming to life. As well as that 007 up there on the outside coming here off of turn 4. Green flag is out. Down the front stretch they go. Harold Klump getting a great start down there on the bottom side. Trevor Guru up there towards the top side. Putting that hammer down, getting a great run down the back stretch up there along that high side. Harold Klump down on the inside. Here comes that 007 there of Sam Bachman as he tries to fight his way up through there and ends up in that outside wall coming down the front stretch. Down out of turn number 2, down that back stretch. Everybody's still side by side as they're almost going 3 wide for the lead. Coming here off of turn number 4. Back down here through the front stretch. 6 laps to go as they round corner number 1. 3 wide as they come off. There you see them go. They get together a little bit. The number 2 there of Harold Klump has to try to collect it. Ends up falling backwards after getting caught up there. Ends up beside that 218 of Kurt Schatzer. As they roll down the backstretch once again down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Out front is Trevor Guru in that number 75. As they roll on down through the front stretch, they're getting a little close up there with Harold Klump on that outside lane. Trevor Guru in that 75, and I'm trying to figure out what that 75T. Okay, 75T for Trevor Guru as they come down here through the back stretch front stretch down here in the corner number 1. 3 to go here in heat number 1. Sam Bachman there second, Mike Brewer there third. Harold Klump fourth, Kurt Schatzer fifth, Jeff Barker back here in sixth, Brian Moore in seventh as they roll on down here in the corner number 1 once again. With it being 2 laps to go, Trevor Guru out front as everybody else is coming through single file. You got 2 of them back here towards the back. You got that 213 and that 55. They're going to try to battle for that last spot back there, but it looks like everybody else is going to hang on to where they're at as Trevor Guru comes here off of the final corner down through 3 and 4. He's going to hang on to that lead as they come here off the corner. Everybody's single file for the most part. And yeah, everybody else single file. There's your finish results for heat number 1. All right, waiting on the results to come in. Heat 1 results. Trevor Guru out there in first. Sam Bachman second. Mike Brewer there third. Harold Klump in fourth. Kurt Schatzer fifth. Jeff Barker there in sixth with Brian Moore there in seventh. As we get on to heat number 2 here tonight, it is going to be out there starting on the grid. Matt Barber out front on that pole position. Kelly Wheeler there in second. Randall Dixon third. Michael Mattelli there fourth. Glenn Sharp there fifth. John Dubai there in sixth. And Brian Dittmer rolling off there in seventh. All right. Everybody getting set to go for this heat number 2. 7 cars here in heat number 2. So if I was looking at the entry right, we're at least going to have 3 heats. As the lights are on that pace car, we're going to go one more time around, I'm thinking. Everybody gets out of the pits all lined up. It's a pretty short track here tonight. Wide sweeping turns though, so I mean, it's a... Cars handle surprisingly well. I took my 358 out there beginning of the night there for a few laps of warm-up while these guys were still out there practicing. So considering in spectate mode here on iRacing, you kind of do that and not disturb the other drivers on the track. So that pace car rolls down there in the pit road. They're coming here through turn number 4. I see them coming here off of 4th, wait for that green flag to drop. Green flag's in the air, we're down and going as they come up in that outside wall. Oh, hang on to it there as they get together. That was the 110 of Kelly Wheeler having issues off the start, ends up getting bumped the back. John Dubai in the front wall down here, has to wait for the field to go by before he can back it up and get straightened out. Unless he takes a tow and just takes where he's going to start. Brandon Dittmer back here in 4th as he's side by side there with the number 99 of Glenn Sharp. And right behind them is the 213 of Michael Vitale as they roll down through turn number 1 and 2. Out on that backstretch. Hanging down here in the corner number 1. The 83 there of Brian Dittmer trying to get that bottom side to work. Randall Dixon up there in 2nd. Matt Barber up there in front. As Brandon Dittmer back here in 4th. Hanging on down through the backstretch here in the corner number 2. Or 3 and 4 rather, coming back out onto the front stretch. 4 laps to go for the leader, Matt Barber, as he heads down through turn number 1 and 2. Randall Dixon there in 2nd. Glenn Sharp back here in 3rd. Michael Vitale in 5th now as Brandon Dittmer gets around him down there on the inside. But look out, here comes Vitale as he's trying to get back down there. Brandon Dittmer up there beside Glenn Sharp. 3 laps to go down that backstretch. Down into corner number 3 and 4 as we roll around here. 2 laps to go with Matt Barber out front. Randall Dixon there 2nd. Glenn Sharp back here in 3rd. Michael Vitale in 4th. Brandon Dittmer there in 5th. Kelly Wheeler in 6th. They roll on down through here off of turn number 4. White flag is out. Matt Barber is your leader. With Randall Dixon trying to chase him down, but we got a mess back here. Michael Vitale trying to get up there in the 3rd spot as he gets up there to the bumper of the 99 of Glenn Sharp. Cannot quite get there, but here comes Dittmer down there on the inside. Drag race to the line. It's going to be Dittmer there for the 4th spot. Michael Vitale finishing there in 5th. All right, as we get everything rolling out here, heat number 2 results. Going to be Matt Barber winning that heat with Randall Dixon there in 2nd. Glenn Sharp there in 3rd. Brandon Dittmer in 4th. Michael Vitale 5th. Kelly Wheeler back there in 6th. And John Dubai finishes in 7th. All right, now on to heat number 3. Your grid looks like this. Scott Riome out there in front. Joseph Grandi there in 2nd. William Watson there in 3rd. Anthony Morano 4th. Dean Reynolds Smith with Bud Molyneux there in 6th. Clay Christopherson there in 7th. And, Bud, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Molyneux, something, I don't know. Somebody will have to tell me how to say that last name here. As we got 8 to go here for that heat number 3. Green flags out. We're down and away. Down here in the corner number 1 they go. I would see that 518 of Joseph Grundy out there in front trying to make a good run, which he does so far with that 444 of Scott Riome down there on the inside. Anthony Morano trying to get something happening up there on the outside. Gets a little bump from behind from the 88 there of William Watson there. Watson should be in the number 23, but he's the number 88 down there on track. Got Dean Reynolds in that 79. Back there in the 51 is Clay Christopherson. As they roll on bound here through turns 1 and 2. The 883 of Bud Molyneux back there in 7th as is right now. As they roll here off of the corner, Anthony Morano up to 3rd. He tries to gain another spot here down there on the inside. Scott Riome there in 2nd with Joseph Grundy out there in front. 5 to go. Now 4 to go as they come down across the stripe in the corner number 1. Everybody's lined up, single file, rolling through turn 1 and 2. And all trying to find that momentum. And that track looks like it's slicking off quite a bit already here tonight. And we haven't even got to the big blocks or anything yet, as it's just the 358 modifieds. After this will be the big block 358 modified showdown, but where we'll have both 358 and big blocks out on the track. Driver's choice as they roll on down here in the corner number 1. 2 to go. Joseph Grundy out front. Scott Riome there 2nd. Anthony Morano there in 3rd with William Watson 4th. Dean Reynolds back here in 5th. Clay Christopherson rolling back here in 6th. Now everybody's driving down here in the corner number 1. Anthony Morano and William Watson going at it back there for that 3rd place as they all jostle for position coming off of turn number 4. Down here across the stripe, it is Anthony Morano going to get that 3rd spot over top of William Watson. Heat number 3 results soon to be coming in. All right, here we go. Your Heat 3 results. Joseph Grundy out there in 1st. Scott Riome there 2nd. Anthony Morano in 3rd. William Watson 4th. Dean Reynolds there 5th. Clay Christopherson rounds out in 6th. Bud Molyneux there in 7th. All right, time for warm-ups. We'll be back after a short message.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding, pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, back here from the Speedway, all lined up for the final heat here of the 358s. Then we move on to the big block 358 showdown. Trevor Garouz will start on the pole with Matt Barber there second. Joseph Grundy there in third. Sam Bachman fourth. Randall Dixon there fifth. Scott Riome there sixth. Mike Brewer there in seventh. Glenn Sharp in eighth. Anthony Morano ninth. Harold Klump 10th. Brandon Dittmer there in 11th. And William Watson there 12th. Rolling on down through the field here in 13th. That's going to be Kurt Satzer with Michael Vitale there on his outside. Dean Reynolds there in 15th. Jeff Barker in 16th. Kelly Wheeler there 17th. Clay Christopherson there in 18th. Brian Moore in 19th. 20th will be starting John Dubai and Bud Molyneux there in 21st. Rounding out your field of 21 here tonight. Down through the backstretch they go. Lights are out, getting ready for the start here next time by. Could be in for some chaos as they head on down through in the corner number 1. We're side by side, everybody lined up, looking good so far. 30 laps is the distance. Green flag is out. We're down and away. Trevor Garouz there in second. Now out in front. He gets a decent start, but hey, look out. That top side coming on strong with the 16 of Matt Barber. Up there along that outside cushion. Down here across the front straightaway. It is still Trevor Garouz down there on the inside. And Matt Barber's hanging on to that outside lane, looking back through the field a little bit. You see that 011 of Randall Dixon trying to fight some way up through the pack. Here comes that 007 up through of Sam Bachman. He's trying to get that outside lane to grab a little bit. There you see that 518 of Joseph Grundy sitting there in fourth right now as Sam Bachman gets around him. Working on down through off of turn number 4. Back out here across the start finish line. Everybody down there along the hump. That's 213, the 218 are all down there bouncing off of that hump down there through turns 3 and 4. They work on through turns 1 and 2. Back out here towards the front stretch. There you see Morano trying to work his way up there into the top of the pack. As they work out here down the backstretch. As they head on down in the corner number 3 and 4. Everybody side by side there. Trevor Garouz has a battle on his hands now as Matt Barber gets to the inside down there in a little bit of a slick stuff. So he's got to make sure he gets that power down, do that track without spinning them tires too much. Because he wants to make sure he keeps that as much grip on the racetrack as he can to keep that car propelled forward. That number 444 of Scott Riome sitting up there on the high side as well as he works it on down through as we got a bunch of cars working together coming here off of corner number 3 and 4 now at 88 there of William Watson. He works down on the underneath side of Glenn Sharp. Brandon Dittmer there in 12th. Mike Vitale there 13th. And that number 213 as they roll off of turn number 3 and 4 back up front. Trevor Garouz still hanging on to the lead, but now he's got Sam Bachman as Matt Barber's falling back to third as they come here out of turn number 3 and 4. The 518 of Joseph Grundy's working out down there on the inside, and it looks like Schatzer and Barker having issues. Caution is out with 21 to go. Schatzer and Vitelli getting together. Try to get the best picture of it here. To come on down through off of turn number 3 and 4. You'll see Vitelli get the back. Oh, man. The R18 there gets up and Vitelli takes a ride as Jeff Barker got into the back of him. Problems there for the 213 of Vitelli. That car had something broke. Back live here at the racetrack. Everybody side by side. John Dubai and Schatzer are showing as out. John Dubai is out there though. Michael Vitelli we're showing as out. Kurt Schatzer, we're gonna have to wait a moment here while the grid figures itself out. Everybody gets in line here. Kelly Wheeler's showing in pit lane, which he is. Pace car out front, everybody lining up there behind him. Pace car now off. Now you see everybody working her off of the corner. We know Wheeler is out there. Schatzer is out there. And Michael Vitelli is showing as out. Green flag back in the air as they head on down here in the corner number 1. Everybody makes it through okay so far. They come down that back stretch. And through 3 and 4, back off. You got the 83 way up there against that outside wall. Brandon Dittmer. Now he dives it back down to the inside there. As you see the 213 of Vitelli, he's working on his way back out of the pit. Just trying to get some points or something to show here tonight as they roll off the corner down there along the front stretch. Somebody's down along the inside wall. I want to say that was Scott Riome out of the 444. They come on down the back stretch, back stretch. There you see Michael Vitelli coming there through turn 1 and 2. Oh, that was the front stretch, sorry. Now you got Morano down there on the inside. Vitelli out from what we're seeing here. Scott Riome out as well. Now Vitelli is out there, so scratch that. I don't understand why the tower keeps showing them as out whenever they're staying. They're on track, as we just saw. Vitelli was there. There he is, right there. Everybody working here off of corner number 2. Down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Matt Barber up there. Oh, and they get together there off the corner. Matt Barber getting into the 518 there of Joseph Grandi. Working here off the corner as everybody's side by side. 3 wide there. Coming off with Morano down on the inside. Trying to get under Dixon. And Randall Dixon comes off the corner down here in the corner number 1. Now we got that 88 there trying to squeeze in between them. Not quite enough room. Now they come here, 12 to go. Trevor Garou out front. Sam Bachman second. The 518 of Joseph Grandi there in third. Matt Barber in fourth. Randall Dixon there fifth. Anthony Morano in sixth. William Watson there in seventh. And we got Mike Brewer there in eighth. Dean Reynolds there in ninth. Harold Klump 10th as it stands right now. Everybody comes rolling out of turn number 4, back down that front straightaway. Joseph Grandi there in third. He's got Matt Barber nipping at his heels as you see just everybody coming off the corner. The 39 there of Mike Brewer ends up in that outside wall coming there off of 2. And a little close to it there as he's racing real hard with Harold Klump in that number 2 machine. Down there on the inside comes that 83 of Brandon Dittmer as Dittmer tries to dig himself along that bottom lane. 8 laps to go. Sam Bachman out there second. Here comes Joseph Grandi. And we got Matt Barber out there in fourth. Randall Dixon there fifth. Anthony Morano sixth. William Watson there seventh. Dean Reynolds there eighth. Mike Brewer there ninth as they come rolling off of turn number 4. The 2 there had to try to get it. Hauled up there as he comes down through the backstretch now into corner number 3 and 4. Gets it safe and back going again as they head on down through into corner number 1. You see out front, it's still Trevor Guru as Sam Bachman there second. Joseph Grandi there in third. Matt Barber back here in fourth. Randall Dixon in fifth as he's got his hands full there with Anthony Morano down there. Oh, Anthony Morano gives him a right rear. Ends up sending them up the racetrack and collects a bunch of drivers back here in the back. Take a look at it here. Hard racing going on. And we'll keep an eye on Morano back here. Down there along the bottom side. Getting a great run there. I want Morano. See him down there at number 32. That white and turquoise machine. Right there in front of him is that number right here. He's got the run going in. Dixon tries to keep it up a little bit. And then Morano comes in and just that back end steps out, gives a nice little tap to the 11. There, Randall Dixon. Randall Dixon goes around, ends up in the middle of the racetrack, stalled pretty much, and it just collects everybody behind him as the 2 plows into him. There from behind comes the 83. Man, what a mess there for these drivers toward the back of the pack. Now you see the 99 getting caught up. There comes the 218. Kurt Satcher getting involved. The 21 getting involved there at 213 of Vitelli. He's got nowhere to go and ends up T-boning the 2. Not quite the night some of these drivers were hoping for. Real tight racing going on. 5 laps to go. Everybody's going to be single file for this restart as they go back green flag. Down here across the front and down in the corner number 1 they go. Trevor Guru out there in front. Morano now up there in the 6th. He's down there on that inside lane once again. The 88 taking that high line, trying to keep it together as they come on down here off the corner. Morano back down there on the bottom side. Trying to keep it down there, keep it tight. Dean Reynolds there right behind them as they fight for position. They head there off of the corner, down through off of 4th. 2 laps to go with Trevor Guru out front. Sam Bachman there second as they work here off of 2 down that backstretch. Morano now has company there from Dean Reynolds as they fight here off of turn 4. Final time around as Trevor Guru takes that white flag up there through turn 1 and 2. Sam Bachman there in second, but Joseph Grandi, he's trying to make the most of it as they work back through turn 3 and 4, back out here onto the front stretch. And it does look like Trevor Guru will take the win as everybody else follows in behind him. We'll get a clear stats here in just a moment. All right, here is your results. Trevor Guru there in first, Sam Bachman second, Joseph Grandi there in third, William Watson there fourth, Matt Barber there fifth, Dean Reynolds sixth, Anthony Morano there in seventh, Mike Brewer there in eighth, Brandon Dittmer there in ninth, Clay Christopherson there in 10th, Jeff Barker in 11th, John Dubai there in 12th, Kelly Wheeler there 13th, Bud Molyneux there in 14th, Brian Moore in 15th, Glenn Sharp there in 16th. And Michael Vitale in 17th. That is your field here tonight. Let's get with our winners. We got Joseph Grandi here, our third place finisher. Good evening, Joseph. Can you hear us okay? Joseph, can you hear us? Not sure if your mic's working or not there, Joseph. All right, we'll come back to Joseph possibly. Oh. You're my... You there, Joseph? He's having some mic issues. We'll come back to him here. We got Sam Bachman there in second. Good evening there, Sam. How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Trying to figure out my sound to turn something up here. There we go. Wonder if that helps. I don't know. It's a little noisy here for me. I got a lot of noise around me right now, and it's just... So how kind of take us through the race tonight and your thoughts on everything.
Oh, I felt pretty kind of locked down, to be honest. Not really much past them that you could do unless someone made a little mistake. I started catching Trevor towards the end a little bit, but I knew that I was gonna have to prey on a mistake or try to figure something out. But there was just gonna be probably no passing because it was starting to get pretty locked down. But other than that, pretty good race.
It seemed like it was a pretty good race out there, and the track seemed to slick it off quite a bit too, which surprised me.
Yeah, it seems like the 358 session, since we get so much practice time, that these tracks always get a little more slick.
Well, you definitely did a great job handling that. Got second place here tonight. You got sponsor shout-outs you want to give for helping you get into that second place position?
Yeah, the boys over at FTM, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop for working hard on the dig, Dean over at Super Dark Car Series, Expert Installation, Flager U for broadcasting coast to coast, and Trevor on his first win for FTM, and Joseph for a good race.
Alrighty, well, congrats again on that second place finish, and we'll see you here in the next race, hopefully.
Yes, sir, hopefully.
All right, let's try this again. Joseph, do you have your mic working?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There you go. Now we got you. You got third place here tonight, huh?
No, my internet's messing up.
Well, it seemed like you had a pretty good battle there most of the night. It wasn't really one person running away with it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I figured whoever was going to start in the lead was going to win this one. It's a pretty locked down track. I felt a little quicker than the guys in front, but getting around was a different story.
You can always be a little quicker, but the problem is trying to get around people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There you got to move them, and I don't really want to do that.
You didn't want to give a bump and run?
Almost did a couple times by accident.
All right, well, you got sponsors or shout-outs you want to give here for getting you in third place tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Keller Recovery, West End Towing and Repair, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and I appreciate you, man, for doing the broadcast.
All righty, well, we appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll see you in the next race.
Yeah, man, have a good one.
All righty. Now we'll get, we'll get with Trevor. Good evening. Good evening, Trevor. You there? Whoop. Trevor? Trevor disappeared on us. All right. Well, we'll unfortunately not get a interview with him unless he comes back in. But congrats to all the winners here, Trevor Group, for getting the win here tonight. As we get ready for the 358 Big Block Showdown. Hopefully everybody stays tuned for that. Looking for great action. Stay tuned.
it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we talked about it.
All right, we're back here, and we finally were able to get Trevor. Trevor, so I know we're getting ready for the big block 358 races as they're out there practicing right now, but you ended up getting a great win there in the 358 division. You there, Trevor?
Yeah, sorry. I think you're shut now.
Yeah, we know we're getting ready for the big block 58 showdown, but kind of take us through with the 58 division. You looked really, really good out there in that number 75 tee tonight.
Yeah, I mean, car felt comfortable. Practicing was super important tonight, especially at a track like Houston. It's super hard to pass when the track gets cleaned off, so starting up front definitely helped, and having a teammate behind me as well certainly helped. I think, talk to him and see what he was doing and stuff like that. And I saw him back there. He was definitely catching me. He probably had the faster car, but yeah, car felt great. It's definitely one of the tracks I feel a little more comfortable at. Yeah, overall super pumped to get the win here tonight. First win with FTM here, so super excited to get this. That stress, that just a sense of relief right now for me.
That's great. I mean, and whenever you can get the first win anywhere, it's always fun. But whenever you switch teams and stuff or starting a new team, it definitely can show.
Yes, sir.
So what do you expect coming in here to the big block 358 division?
Honestly, I probably expect 90% of people to take a big block. I think it's going to be a lot more top dominant as well, with less time to burn the track in. But other than that, I think I think it's going to be a little more racier than the 358s. Just like I said, we're going to have less time to burn it in. So I think we'll have at least 2 lanes here tonight, and probably see the track change midway through the feature. So it should be a good one here tonight.
Alrighty, well, you got sponsors and shout-outs you want to thank for helping you get that win here. I know you were thinking FTM there for a moment. You got any other shout-outs you want to give?
Oh, yeah, everybody on this car tonight. Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, Swan Speed Shop, Vertex Graphics, Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, every single guy here at FTM. It's such a great group to be a part of. I'm super happy to finally get that first win with the new group here. So shout out to those guys for being supportive, and they knew how badly I wanted this one, so shout out to them, and I'm looking forward to the next. Thank you for broadcasting as well, and everybody at C2C for putting
Alrighty. Well, congrats again for victory there and the 358 big blocks. No, the 358 division, we're getting ready for the big blocks now, so good luck.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Trevor Guru. We finally were able to catch up with them here between sessions, and we'll be going live. We'll be going green here, or qualifying here, in just a few moments. So stick with us here at Figure Farm TV on the pole and Coast to Coast Racing Network. As you see, we finally were able to get that logo down in there in the bottom right-hand corner. As these drivers are really burning up the track, trying to get something worked in here. Try to get a racing line worked in, find out where they're quick. As you heard from Trevor, a lot of them are possibly going to switch over to the big block since it is a little bit bigger. I would see Chase Matsko out there with the Regal Wrap sponsored machine. Dean Reynolds. Out there, we got Matt Barber. Michael Vitale out there running a few laps yet. You got Randall Dixon running a few laps. It will be interesting to see how the cars differ between the setups, or between the well, yeah, I guess you could say setups, because one's a big block, one's a small block. Both East Coast modifieds. Definitely different from the UMP modifieds that some people know. If I'm going to run modifieds, I'm running these East Coast modified. I'm not running the UMPs. I don't have anything against the UMPs. It's just I personally don't care for them. They can put on some great racing, though, just as these guys do here at the big blocks. I see Randall Dixon out there. Chase Matsko's now out there getting a few laps in. That car come down there in the corner number 3 and 4. Try to figure out if the bottom's going to work or the top's going to work. Mopar power up in that big block. He's trying to figure out where that line's going to be. We heard from Trevor that it's possibly going to be a top dominant racetrack, so the sooner somebody can, if you can be the first one out front and get up there to the top side, it very well could be a very top dominant racetrack for these big blocks. But who knows? Somebody could possibly make that bottom work too and become a catfish and be able to drift along that bottom just as well. A lot of throttle control, though, to keep it hooked up down there on that bottom. And see John Dubai out there in that number 21. Head on down here off the back, off onto the back stretch. Good evening there, Runkle Family Farms. Thank you for tuning in to On the Pole tonight. Hopefully we get some great action for you here. Chase Matsko, member of the Fleeger Farm Motorsports, Runkle Family Farm, going to hopefully be bringing in the 358 at some point in the season here, so we'll be excited to see that. Yes, spoiler alert. Down here in the corner number 1 and 2, or 3 and 4 rather, as he comes out here, it's Matt Barber coming off, getting his laps underway. Matsko out there getting his laps underway. Mason Hine, he's also getting his laps underway. We've got a decent turnout here for the big blocks. They roll down here off of the corner, heading down through that front straightaway, down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Matt Barber out front. Chase Matsko there in second as it stands, but he's falling back quickly. Not quite getting the speed that some of these other drivers are getting, as he's there in about 13th, 14th. Morano, Brewer, Christopherson, Bachman, Watson all still have yet to come in and get a lap down. And see the 213 there of Vitale getting in there at about 10th position. They head on down through here off the backstretch. There you see Morano up there. He's trying to run about mid-corner of that. Runs a cut down there off the to the front stretch. Down here in the corner number 1 and 2. It's going to get up here to about 8th position. Looks like we got 19 cars here tonight. So everybody will make the feature. And hopefully you get them new pedals dialed in there, Runkle family, as I understand you're waiting on them, so hopefully those work out for you. All right, starting grid for heat number 1. Going to be Brandon Dittmer out there in front. Sam Bachman there second. Trevor Guru there third. Dean Reynolds there fourth. Anthony Morano fifth. Brian Moore sixth. Michael Vitale seventh. Mason Hine there in eighth. Chase Matsko in ninth. Clay Christopherson there in 10th. That's going to be your heat number 1. So with 19 drivers, we're going to have 2 heats. The first one's going to have 10 drivers. Second one's going to have 9. So we're in for a great showdown here with 2 heats. And that should go by pretty quickly here. 8 laps for the first event. There you see our 358 winner starting there in third, down there on the inside in that 75T. As he said, he was bringing out the big block, as well as a few others most likely did the same. Chase Matsko back here, and going to see if he can find some sort of grip. All right, rolling down here off the corner. Lights are out. We're going to be going green next time by. Definitely say, if anybody knows where to find cheap air conditioning for their booth, that would be great, because I am sweating all kind of everywhere tonight, as it's about 80-something degrees outside, and I got fans blowing everywhere, just trying to stay cool. All right, off the corner, the 83 of Dittmer out front. Here comes Sam Bachman there in second. Trevor Guru down there on the inside, really taking that curb. Not sure if that's going to help them get any speed as they run up here down into corner number 1 and 2. Back around here with that 75T up there in the 4th. Out there in front is Dittmer. And these drivers are trying to find every little bit of grip they can. And there you see Chase Matsko. He's got Christopherson there underneath him. Up here through off of corner number 1 and 2. He's falling back into 10th as they work on down off of turn number 3 and 4. And we're seeing them really hugging that bottom. And I thought Guru said that we possibly were going to be seeing a top dominant racetrack. Well, I'm not really seeing anybody racing that top line as of yet, as everybody's down there toward the bottom lane. As they work there. There goes Guru. He's going to try to see if he can be the first one up there along that outside fence to get some grip. Yeah, he's getting to the outside of Reynolds. Reynolds now working there off the corner, but Vitale back here. As he's falling back, Morano, not sure what happened to him. As him and Vitale get into it, that's going to shuffle him back into 10th. As Chase Matsko sitting there up above Vitale now as they work down that front stretch. As he's getting that top lane worked in there for him. Down here off of turn 1 and 2. Brandon Dittmer out there in front, coming around to the white flag. Sam Bachman there in second, right on the bumper of that 83. He's going to kick it out there to the outside. He's going to see if he can get that outside momentum coming here off the corner. Cannot quite get there. As they roll down here through 3 and 4. Cannot quite get there this time. As they roll here off the corner. He gets there now, but just not enough when he comes across the line to finish there in second. Dean Reynolds third. Trevor Guru there in 4th. The rest of your heat number 2 result, heat number 1 results are coming in here shortly. All right, heat results for heat number 1. Brandon Dittmer, your winner. Sam Bachman there in second. Dean Reynolds third. Trevor Guru fourth. Brian Moore there fifth. Mason Hine there in sixth. Chase Matsko seventh. Clay Christopherson there eighth. Anthony Morano there in ninth. Michael Vitale in 10th. Getting ready now for heat number 2, your starting grid. Going to be Jeff Barker out in front. Matt Barber second. Mike Brewer there third. William Watson there fourth. Randall Dixon fifth. Glenn Sharp there in sixth. Scott Riome seventh. Harold Klump there eighth. and John Dubai in ninth. That is heat number 2. And for all you folks that are watching over at Fleeger Farm TV, watching the On the Pole episode over there, we are sorry, but we're going to have to find somebody else to help us out next week, as we are out of town due to a Lion State convention. So I'll be out in Scranton next Thursday. With no way of doing the broadcast, so... think I'll be having dinner somewhere this time of night. So good luck to the Fleeger Farm team that comes out and puts on a show next week. Whether Runkle joins in or not, we'll see. But good luck to Matsko as he takes on and tries to get up there and better through the field. Here in heat number 2, getting ready for the green flag as they head on here out of corner number 4. On that front stretch, here we go. Green flag is out down into corner number 1. Jeff Barker getting a decent start down there on that bottom side, but Matt Barber, he's getting up there, and that top line looks to be starting to get drove in here as that 16 gets a great run off the top of the corner, and he's going to take that lead. Here comes that 23. Of William Watson as well, as Watson now gets up there in the second place over top of that 513 of Jeff Barker, but Jeff Barker fighting as hard as he can down there on the inside, and now they roll off the corner. Jeff Barker there in 3rd, Mike Brewer there in 4th, Glenn Sharp in 5th, Randall Dixon there 6th, Harold Klump in 7th, Scott Riome 8th with John Dubai in 9th. As they roll around here, 8-5 to go, coming down into corner number 1. Matt Barber out front, William Watson there in 2nd as they all roll down through off the backstretch. And into corner number 3, the 4 up into the outside wall. That's not to be good, as that's going to hurt him here. He toes it back to the fence. There comes Matt Barber now off at corner number 2. The 011 of Randall Dixon, he's coming off. Glenn Sharp here in 5th. Harold Klump there in 6th. John Dubai in 7th. Jeff Barker also in the pits. So Jeff Barker and Scott Riome both sitting in the pits right now. As he had 39 of Mike Brewer down there on the inside of that turn. He's trying to find something himself. Down there on that inside lane, but Matt Barber up there on that outside lane. He's doing what he needs to get that battle happening, get that top line run in. Trevor Guru kind of thought that this track's going to become top dominant here for the feature, as that is what's going to be coming up next. As everybody advances, nobody really needs to work on where they're starting from the B, or the constellation, whatever you want to call it. There's John Dubai, Harold Klump coming along the line. So heat results for heat number 2. All right, here's your heat results for heat number 2. Matt Barber is your winner. William Watson there in 2nd. Mike Brewer there 3rd. Randall Dixon there 4th. Glenn Sharp there 5th. As you got Harold Klump there 6th. John Dubai 7th. Scott Riome 8th. Jeff Barker in 9th. All right, as they get here for warm-ups, about a few minutes here, trying to get everything situated. Let's see if we can take a look here. Let's see now. We want to see standings. So, for the big block modifiers, Anthony Morano is out front with a total of 369 points. Mike Brewer is there in 2nd with 346 points. Clay Christopherson rolling there in 3rd. Dean Reynolds there 4th. Did them all rolling down through off the corner. Minute 30. So top 5 in points, if you're curious. It's Anthony Morano 1st, Mike Brewer 2nd, Clay Christopherson 3rd, Dean Reynolds there in 4th, and Jeffrey Barker rounding out your top 5 in points. And I was just kind of flipping through here in points for Pro Late because that's what comes up after this. Anthony Morano leads that, and I look to see where I'm at. Yours truly here. I'm sitting in 12th position out of 26 drivers. So I'm not last. So I'll take that as a win for now. And I'm ahead of some other drivers, which I'm happy with. I'm ahead of Michael Vitale, Ryland Banks, Jeffrey Barker. So, I mean, I'm not doing too bad. Hopefully we can make something more happen here tonight. First off, we got to watch the feature here. There you see Chase Matsko in that number 26. Rolling up here along that outside, trying to see if he can get that top line figured out. All right, head down here off the corner. There you see that 32, or I'm sorry, no. I'm trying to figure out who's behind him. 23 of William Watson. All right, 9 seconds left to go here in the feature, or till the feature. All right, they work down here off the stretch. 30 laps for the main event here tonight. Your starting grid: Brandon Dittmer, Matt Barber, Sam Bachman starting third, William Watson fourth, Dean Reynolds fifth, Mike Brewer there sixth, Trevor Garou seventh, Randall Dixon there eighth, Brian Moore there in ninth, Glenn Sharp in 10th, Mason Hine there in 11th, Harold Klump in 12th. 13th, that's going to be Chase Matsko, John Dubai there in 14th, Baker Thompson 15th, Scott Riome in 16th, Anthony Morano 17th, Jeff Barker back here in 18th, and Michael Vitale in 18th. Pace car is off. Didn't even make it through a lap. And head on down here in the corner number one. Matt Barber back here in second. Sam Bachman there third. William Watson fourth. Dean Reynolds fifth. Mike Brewer back here in sixth. Trevor Garou. All right, caution is out. Anthony Morano crashed. All right, let's see what happened here to Morano on the start. All right, wait a moment. I'm getting mixed things here. Morano ended up down there on the inside wall. Green flag. Aha, here we go. Let's see here. Coming off the start. Brian Moore there in the 55. They all come down here in the corner number 1. The 55 gets bumped, turns around, and they collect everybody there in corner number 1. Harold Klump, John Dubai, everybody get caught up. Doesn't look too serious. Alright, coming down here in the corner, number 3 and 4. Pace cars down there on the apron, getting ready to pull off. They're getting ready to go green flag racing out of corner number 4. Down here in the corner number 1 now. Let's see if we can get a little bit better start. 5 laps into this 30-lap shootout as they head on down the backstretch. Everybody up there toward the outside lane trying to get something working. We heard Trevor Drew say he was going to try to... Oh, and we got another one around. That's 79, or no, 69 rather. All right, come back through here. No, sorry, 89 of Mason Hine and Jeff Barker get caught up. All right, see Christopherson getting into the back of the 89 a little bit. 89 end up sideways. Chase Matsko then has nowhere to go except into the side. He's going to end up coming up and getting sideways into the 51. Sending the 51 of Christopherson around. Matsko hangs it up there on the top side. Hey, drivers head on down through off the backstretch. Yellow flag's out as you see Barney holding it there in his hand. Jeff Barker back here towards the back, sitting in about 16th position in that 513. Got that 55 for that 055 of Brian Moore. The 2 of Harold Klump back there. Pace car is off. We're getting ready to go green flag racing again, I think. There it is. Green flag back in the air. William Watson up there on that high side in that number 23. For FTM, working down the backstretch up there above the 16 of Matt Barber. Barber's hanging it down there on the low side. Sam Bachman there in second. You got that 83, Brandon Dittmer there out front. As they roll here through 1 and 2, back onto that backstretch on lap number 5 here. Can we get up to lap number 6 here? They roll down through off the corner. Everybody's working as they can. As we're up here side by side, Matt Barber with Dean Reynolds. Now as Dean Reynolds gets around Matt Barber, working down here in the corner number 3 and 4, back out onto the front stretch. Chase Matsko back here. He's working there with Michael Vitale underneath him. Down here in the corner number 3 and 4. He's going to sling it out there wide. Vitale getting a run. He's going to get a little bump there from Vitale. Down here in the corner number 3 and 4. He's up there on the high side. Now oh no, he gets into the back of Vitale. Caution is out. That's not good. Vitale had to kind of check up, and I just don't think Chase had enough time to react. And Vitale, whenever he got gone, ends up taking out somebody else. That's the 21 there. I've drawn Dubai. He is now all cattywampus, all twisted around. back are under caution. 22 laps to go. Now, I want you guys to kind of take something into perspective here. We just ran the 358s out here. 2 to 3 cautions through the entire thing. And we have more cars start that. Granted, it was 1 or 2 more cars, but still, it technically was more cars starting the 358. 2 less cars here, and we're having issues with cautions. Down here, down the backstretch. Sam Bachman up there in second. Single file restart. As they come here out of turn 4, green flag is out. Everybody's down and away. As they roll here off the corner. There comes Chase Matsko as he gets up there to the block of Brian Moore down there on the inside lane now. As he works here off the corner, down that backstretch. Down into corner number 3 and 4. Everybody working off. Brandon Dittmer out there in front, that 83. Sam Bachman trying to chase him down. Here comes William Watson. They're in third. Dean Reynolds there fourth. Matt Barber there in fifth. Mike Brewer in sixth. Randall Dixon seventh. Clay Christopherson there eighth. Trevor Guru in ninth. Glenn Sharp there in 10th. Harold Klump in 11th. And they roll on down here. 20 laps to go for the main feature here in the big block 358 showdown this Thursday night for Thursday Night Thunder from coast to coast. I see Watson coming there off the corner. Sam Bachman out front. As they come rolling off, Randall Dixon, Clay Christopherson, Trevor Guru, Glenn Sharp there in 10th, Harold Klump there in 11th, Brian Moore back here in 12th right now. As you see, there comes the 444 of Scott Realm and John Dubai up into the fence out there. In that number 21, coming there off of 1 and 2, ends up into the fence, coming out of 2. He back up there and gets into the turn 1 and 2 fence once again. You know, John, you're not supposed to be up there battling with that outside wall like that. It might slow you down just a little bit. You see Brian Dittmer up there. He's going to take that line down there through the front straightaway, bringing that some to Sam Bachman, 007, with the 23 of William Watson there third. Dean Reynolds fourth. Matt Barber there fifth. Mike Brewer sixth. Clay Christopherson there in seventh. As they roll here off the corner, down that back straightaway. As Randall Dixon's working there, and he's got Trevor Guru there behind him. Down here off the corner. Up off, here they go. Sam Bachman second, William Watson there third. Dean Reynolds there fourth, Matt Barber there fifth. Mike Brewer sixth, Clay Christopherson there in 7th. Randall Dixon there in 8th. As they roll down here still, everybody's just getting around here. Now they're starting to get a little bit of a hang of it. Here we're watching a battle between Vitelli and Matsko as they come down there off the corner. Matsko up there along that top edge again. Up there in that outside wall. That's not going to help him too much as he's now coming up there beside the 444 rather, of Scott Riome. Scott Riome down there on the inside. As Matsko's trying just every little thing he can to keep that car going the direction and getting up there to try to battle Vitelli for that 14th spot. Down here off the corner, you got 23, William Watson then in third. Dean Reynolds here in fourth. 9 to go here at Houston for the big block 358 Thursday Night Thunder. Dean Reynolds back here fourth. Matt Barber in fifth. Mike Brewer back in sixth. Clay Christopherson seventh. As you see, Mike Brewer, he's trying to get up there to gain a couple spots. Hey, the lead, I'll say the points leaders are struggling here a little bit tonight as we see Anthony Morano back down there in the pits. Brewer, who's second in points, back here in about 6th right now. 7 to go. Christopherson, I think he might be third in points, 3rd or 4th in points. So he's sitting about there with Brewer. Heading on down here off the corner in the turn number 1 and 2. As they head off down the front straightaway. Brandon Dittmer out there in front. Sam Bachman second. William Watson there third. Dean Reynolds fourth. Matt Barber there fifth. Mike Brewer 6th, Clay Christopherson there 7th, Randall Dixon there 8th. Trevor Garou there 9th. Glenn Sharp in 10th. Harold Klump in 11th. Brian Moore in 12th. Going on down through here. What a great race going on so far. Brandon Dittmer out there running in front with Sam Bachman 2nd. William Watson there 3rd. Dean Reynolds 4th. Matt Barber back there in 5th. Clay Christopherson there 6th. Mike Brewer 7th with Randall Dixon back here in 8th, and he's got company from Trevor Garou down there on the bottom side. Kind of a little bit different race than what I thought we'd see out of Trevor, as Trevor kind of was hinting around that it was going to be top dominant. And to see him trying to run the bottom side, as we see Dittmer, he's running top, bottom here. Bottom through turns 1 and 2, and then running the top through 3 and 4. As white flag is out, they come across the line. Dittmer is your winner with Watson 2nd, Dean Reynolds 3rd. Buckman finishes 4th, Matt Barber in 5th. We're going to see how this wraps up here. Just waiting on the final results to be tallied, and they all come in. All right, feature results are in. There we go. Brandon Dittmer in 1st, William Watson 2nd, Dean Reynolds 3rd, Sam Bachman there in 4th, Matt Barber 5th, Clay Christopherson there in 6th, Mike Brewer in 7th, Randall Dixon 8th, Trevor Garou there in 9th, Glenn Sharp 10th, Brian Moore in 11th, Chase Matsko in 12th, Harold Klump in 13th, Jeff Barker 14th, Scott Riome there in 15th, Michael Vitale there 16th, John Dubai in 17th, 18th, going to Mason Hine, and Anthony Morano finishing out your field in 19th tonight. All right, back here with the winners. We'll get with Dean Reynolds. Good evening, Dean. How's it going?
What's going on, Adam? How you doing, my friend?
These races are clicking away pretty quickly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Houston, it's hard to pass. But when you get guys that respect each other for the most part there and everything, they're going to race clean, and you got to pick your lanes. But if you can't really pass, you just stay in line. Don't get in the guy in front. Hopefully, the guy behind you doesn't get in. And what do we have? 2 yellows in the 358s. I think we only had 2 yellows in this race, so you can't.
You had 3 in this one.
Yeah, okay, you had 3, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll be all right with that. That's good.
Well, you had a great run there, and you coming out for the pro lates?
Yeah, I'm going to have fun with you in the pro lates, Adam, so we're going to have a little bit of fun.
Well, I'm showing off the team paint scheme here tonight, so it should be fun.
Yeah, no, and whenever you get a chance, because thank you for your sponsorship on Super Dirt Modified Week, you get your entry, so make sure you enter so we can get you on the roster. I know you're not sure if you can race, but hopefully you can. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to, so I might have to pass that sponsorship spot over to somebody.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but ask Jeff and Jack on that, and that'll be cool. But it'll be a good big event. I'm looking forward to it.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, and you got sponsors and shout-outs you want to give there for getting 3rd tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Got to thank the guys from Full Throttle Motorsports, and I got to thank Sam Bachman. He told us the line he ran in the 358s, and that's what I did in the big block. And lo and behold, I put it right on the pole, and so I got to thank him for the help. He had a little bit of a problem there at the end, or else I think that was a 4th place car. But sorry he had a problem there. I almost looked like he ran out of fuel or something. But Sam's a good dude, and he really runs good. But I got to say congratulations to William Watson. Just came into Coast to Coast. He's been part of FTM for a while, and he's finally getting where he can race with us. His work schedule is getting where he can race, and he's on the podium. But I got to say congratulations to Brandon Dittmer. Man, what a run for BD. He's a nice guy, and he ran that perfect race, I tell you. So congrats. He's a sprint car guy, but he earned this one.
Alrighty, yeah. This track's looking like a lot of fun out there, so I've done a little practice, so I'm looking forward to getting out there.
All right, man. We'll see you shortly.
Alrighty. Yeah, good luck in the next race there, Dean.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it, man.
All right, I have Dean Reynolds, our 3rd place. Now we're getting with William Watson. Good evening, Watson. How's it going?
What's going on? Good.
Well, you got second here tonight on a track that seems very hard to pass at. You kept the hold of second. Kind of take us through how you were able to do that with the track slicking off.
I mean, just, hit your lines. You're just waiting for somebody to make a mistake here. That's all that is. Keep it off the wall, hit your lines, and just wait for somebody to make the mistake and capitalize on it. But just still kind of hard on this track being so small. That if they make the mistake, you don't know where they're going to land at, because if they're on the inside, they can slide with the track on the straight. So it's kind of hard to know when to actually take it.
Well, you did a great job hanging on to second there, and I understand this is one of your first few races here with Coast to Coast, and hopefully we'll see you in more going forward.
Yeah, actually, I used to race with Coast to Coast 2-3 years ago. I just had other stuff to do and couldn't get back in. They wouldn't let me back in, but they finally did. I want to appreciate them for that. Get to come out here and race with all these guys. Had fun.
Well, you got any other shout-outs or sponsors you need to give for helping you get into second place tonight?
Yeah, teammates at FTM, Swan Speed Shops, Deeper Performance, GearPacks.com, Dean Dark Car Series, and you for putting it on.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, and are you racing the Pro Late models?
I sure am.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you out on track.
I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that is William Watson. Now we'll get with Brandon Dittmer. Dittmer, where did you find that extra set of rails tonight?
That's a good question, man. I usually don't like these cars, but for some reason tonight here at Houston, it just hooked up like no other, and I just couldn't catch me.
Now, I understand you're used to sprint cars, not quite to modifieds.
Oh yeah, I'm a big sprint car guy. That's what I've done for the past 5 years on this sim. But yeah, these things I've never liked ever since they came onto the sim. But here at Houston, I'm fast in almost anything.
Yeah, I'd definitely say somebody laid down a set of rails for you to follow.
It's what kind of what it seemed like. It was nice. I appreciate it.
Well, you look great out there. Car looked great, and congrats on the victory. You got sponsors or shout-outs to give here for helping you get into that.
Oh, you for the broadcast, everybody behind the scenes for Coast to Coast. JRB Designs for the wrap. Looks amazing. And, Training Wheels Racing, all the guys over there helping me get better every week. And all the FTM guys who give me encouragement every week. And finally I pulled one out of my butt and beat them.
Yeah, they're a tough group to beat.
They're half the field on these kinds of nights. It's tough.
Well, yeah, you have 3 of them right there behind you.
Oh yeah, I was looking on the relative there at the start of the race. I'm just like FTM. It's like, oh crap.
Well, must feel extra special getting that win tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
So, alrighty, well, we'll see how you can do if you're coming into the Pro Late models. We'll see how well you can handle that.
Yeah, I'll give her a shot. I don't like these cars too much, but we'll see what we can do.
Alrighty, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're getting ready here for the Pro Late models, so give us a few, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you so much for watching.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Right when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, ready to bring you my portion of the Thursday Night Thunder. We got the pro late models here at the Huset's Speedway. Been a pretty good racing so far tonight from what I've seen. I didn't see the caution count race one, but only 3 there in the big blocks and small blocks. My man, Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer, bringing it home. Good run for Dittmer. Yeah, woke him up this morning with an ice cold glass of checkered flag. He probably would have been pretty happy. I don't think he knew he was going to roll in here tonight and win with the big blocks, but that's exactly what he did. Hats off to the man is the barber. Pulling off the racetrack. That's Chase Matsko out there in the 26. Let's see who else we got out here. We got William Watson pulling off the racetrack. We got Dean Reynolds in the 79. We got Mike Brewer in the 390. I always want to just call him the 39 because he's the 39 in the Sunday League. It is 8:30 now, so not too sure when they'll roll this over and kick it off, but they're good to anytime. 8:30 is that kickoff time. We've got to stay aware here, basically, is my point. Be going off on us at any time. Be ready here, and I think we may. Wasn't too bad. I can tell it gets a little louder there on the soundboard. Hopefully not too loud. Let me know if they are too bad. I've got the I got the keys, man, to the castle. As I see Ron saying Shaggy in the chat box. There we go. They finally let me have those keys. High side banger Patrick Spangler. I can look on the YouTube chat now with you guys, so try to chime in a little better. Normally on my end, on my stream stuff, I only see, my personal page chat box. That's why it's kind of harder to keep up with you all. No excuses now. I've got the Coast to Coast YouTube on the computer, so if you know you got any problems, sound sites, just holler at me, man. Let me know. Just change it up for you, make it a better experience. As we see the broadcaster here, Adam Flieger, rolling that 38 around. Got the pink one this week. I don't believe it's been pink in the past. This may be a new one this week here for the 38. And I hate to do this. But you probably think, well, realistically, do I hate to do it? No. I want it to be a little better. You're going to see how high this green bar is going to be a little higher. Here we go. That's going to help the experience out a little bit, I think. And save my eardrum. Scott Rayome whipping that 444 around. Let's see something here with Scott. Never noticed. Now, here at Hughes It's, I don't think... I do have a couple zooms there you're going to see. Oh, he's got Shaggy TV on the side of the spoiler. Thank you for that, Scotty. I was trying to see what it says inside the 4. Oh, it says Slide Job Scotty. Okay, there you go. Got it written out in the 4. I like that. I didn't know if he wrote... I thought for a second he maybe wrote 44 in there. And I have the big number for it and the word 44, but really dig that good-looking car here. We got the Ant-Man coming in. I got a feeling that's maybe who we were waiting on here. Let's see here. Do we have anybody else? Brandon Templeton out there on the racetrack. Matt Barber out there. They're the only guys here in Group 1 still out on the racetrack. No, I love you guys. I really do. Heck, that's why I sponsored this thing on Thursday. But it is draft night. And it is 8:30, so we aren't waiting for, you know, possibly President Trump or somebody like that to join us here. We should kick this thing off because I have a football and absolutely fiending for this draft. I'm hoping, you know, maybe Washington. I'm a Commanders fan, obviously, but I'm hoping, you know, maybe we trade down. You know, we did pretty good last year. Got a late first-round pick. I'm hoping we maybe trade out, maybe get a first-rounder next year, or possibly, you know, 2 seconds this year, 2 2s, maybe a 2 and a 3 for it, and then a 2 next year. Gotta hope, man. You gotta build this team. And some of you probably think, oh, Shaggy Wagon Jumper, the Redskins used to be good. Well, they were good in January of 1991. That's when they won the Super Bowl, but I happen to be born June of 1991, and since then, made the playoffs 5 now, I believe, with last season. 5 times since we're in my 34 years of being alive, so it is pretty cool to experience a good team. Definitely a lot different, you know, draft at the end of the first round. You know, normally we're a lot closer to the top of the draft list, but luckily tonight, taking it easy on us. I mean, last season took a little easy on us, let us get in there, and the checkered flag waves, it looks like. We are going to get ready to roll into qualifying here at the Huset's Speedway. 14 cars in the room. Spider Monkey Brandon Dittmer didn't put in a time. Not sure if he's going to be able to race or not. But he did sign up, making it look a little better here for us. Anybody who watches anything with Coast to Coast, you should know by now, if the 31's in the room, he's on the racetrack first. And, of course, He is. Let's watch him here. Lap number 1. Rolls out of 4, takes the green flag. We're going to sit up here on the wall. We're going to watch what he does here, lap 1. We're going to stick with him, though, for both laps. Interesting to see here what the 31 does. So he goes real low there through 3 and 4, takes purple in sector 2. Didn't have it in sector 1 because Brandon Dittmer, my gosh, he didn't even put in a lap. What? I'll tell you, I don't know what he put in his cereal this morning, but the Spider Monkey is absolutely pissing excellence at the moment. Oh, man, and now he wadded up that race car. But look at him at 12.69 at the top of the charts. The Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. He doesn't race on Thursdays, guys. This is not his night. You know, he comes out here every now and then, and man, he's taking it to him here in the FTM playground it's been at the moment. That is awesome. That is a huge, huge run for the Spider Monkey. I'm actually, man, I'm almost caught without words. Brandon Dittmer, man. He wasn't even going to race, too, if he's going to be honest with you. After his interview, or before his interview, I popped up in there and waited for the top 3 to get up there, and then I showed my face in the Discord. And, you know, I made a rude comment. I said, you guys going to show up here, and are you guys going to bail on me tonight? You know, in other words, a little naughtier. And Dittmer's like, yeah, man, you know, I got about an hour. Screw it. I'll do it. If you're, you know, race ain't done here by X amount of time, he's got to go. But qualifying up front, that may maybe make him put those plans on hold for a little bit. Let's take a look here. Starting lineup, heat race number 1. Rounding out the field, the mayor in the 75, Steve Bixler. Row 3 to the top shelf, the 21 of Blackjack, John Tobias. To the inside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row 2 to the outside, the 83 of the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer, your pole winner. And to the inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row 1 for heat race number 1, brought to you by Shaggy TV. To the outside, the 23 of Bart William Watson. And starting on the pole, the 32 of the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Good to see William allowed in here, because I'm telling you right now, I was getting pretty close to sending messages out to campaign to get this guy in here. He is a teammate of mine from about 3 or 4 years ago, hell, maybe longer than that. But it is awesome seeing him with FTM now and having him back here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. Like I say, ran in here way back when, but, well, we were both on a team that we're no longer a part of, obviously, and that maybe came with a little bit of drama, and, well, William was shown the door, but now, with arms wide open, welcomed back in, and he's got 8 laps to play here in the Pro Late Models. What can he do outside of row number 1? Green flag waves, we're underway. Good jump there for the Ant-Man. He's going to have to slide up, maybe shut that door on his teammate, but Bart trying to muscle in there, not going to do it. And I'll tell you what, TV3 got really loud. We may have to turn this down a little bit. My apologies. I didn't account for all the cars. Oh, Anthony! Bit of a hiccup coming out of 2. Slides up in front of the 88. And now, William trying to look to the outside while your pole winner, Brandon Dittmer, tries to shop there. Gets a little loose out of 2. And Brandon Dittmer going to fall back to 4th here, but William Watson to the lead as they enter in through 1 and 2. Now coming into 3, William with the advantage needs the run off the top. He's got it. William Watson holding on to the lead. William up top here, coming to 3 to go this time. Brandon Templeton trying to make a move here for P2. What can the 31 do? Trying to make it work down low. Not going to be easy. Can't carry that momentum up the racetrack. And Brandon Templeton, man, just swinging at air here. You feel miserable. Try to get that run, and now he's going to see a side-by-side. What can Anthony Morano do? Slide job. William back into the center, almost 3 wide. Oh, man. Oh, man. White flag wave. Contact between the 31 and the 88. Now, Anthony Morano, he takes advantage. And he breaks home. He race number 1. Followed by Brandon Templeton, William Watson, Brandon Dittmer, Dean Reynolds, and John Tobias. And I can tell you, I just realized a lot of what my problem is now. I have probably the worst memory known to man, and yep, turned this up last night. Whenever we ran the midgets, because they are very quiet. Now I need to turn it back up on my other end here. We'll probably adjust for a little bit. My apologies. Let's take a look here at the starting grid. Heat race number 2. Inside of row 4, we got the 051 of Putt-Putt Clay Christopherson. Row 3 to the outside, the 444, my homie Scott Rayomi. To the inside, the 38 of Adam Flieger. Row 2 to the top shelf, the 390 of Mike Brewer. To the inside, the 075 of the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux. Row 1 for heat race number 2 to the outside, the Barber in the 16, Matt Barber, and starting on the pole, the 26 of Chase Matsko. So I'm so used to doing the one and then we go racing here. This iRacing update where they took that away from us, it's really thrown me off my game. And then when they give it back to us, I'm going to be taking my time here on the starting grids, thinking we're going to have 2 laps, and they'll just do their best to keep me guessing here as always. We roll into 3 and 4 here for the final time. We're going to see the green flag high, and it'll be ready to fly. We've got 8 laps to play at the Huset's Speedway. Heat race number 2 is underway. Matsko trying to make it work here on the bottom early. Man, he hooked it up fairly well coming off the corner, and that's going to be what that 26 wants. Now he can slide up, take it, and Chase Matsko holds onto the lead while the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux, trying to work that 75 on the bottom. What can he do? New blood here into FTM. The Philly Flyer. Long-time Venom racer, but, you know, as good things all must come to an end. Sometimes people have things pop up in life, and Trevor just racing by himself needed to find a new group of homies. And he found one there with the boys at FTM, and oh, man. Little hiccup there for Matsko. That's all Trevor needed. Battle for the lead at the line. Give it to the 75. The Philly Flyer, trying to slide up in front. 3 wide for second. Oh, battling for the lead here. Look at Putt-Putt on the bottom. The 051, Clay Christopherson. Doing it overtime here. Started 7th. Started 7th. Up 5 spots. He's up to 2nd. Man, oh man, and he may get one more. He's got time here. What can he do? Looking low through 3 and 4. We're going to see that white flag wave. One more lap to go. Battle on between Full Throttle Motorsports teammates. Putt-Putt on the bottom, trying to do just that. Milk it. Trying to keep it straight, find speed. What can he do? Side by side at the line. Give it to the Philly Flyer by a nose. Putt-Putt P2. The Barber 3rd, Brewer 4th, Matsko 5th, Rayom 6th, and Adam Flieger 7th. Holy you-know-what. What a run, man. Oh, my gosh, what a finish. Between those guys and, well, you know the deal by now. I sponsor this one. Yeah, I call the shots here. We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to sit right here. I'm going to mute myself So I can grab a drink, maybe partake in some hobbies, and we'll be right back with racing here in about 4 minutes, so don't go anywhere. No kidding, Ron. I'm unmute myself just to talk to you there quick. No kidding, man. They are serious. And I think it goes back to, you heard, I think it was Dino in his big block interview, kind of mentioned how difficult it can be to pass here and work yourself, around that guy in front of you. It's kind of line dependent. So you got to get it while you can in that heat race. And man, one spot out there is 2 spots in the feature. So you got to go get it. You got to try to work. And that's exactly what we saw there. Both heat races, man. Can't take prisoners here and use it. So you got to go get it. Like I say here, grab that drink. I just couldn't help myself. Had to talk to Ron when he chimed in there. But you see the clock. They'll probably, I don't know if they'll advance it at 2 minutes. If they do, it'll catch me by surprise and I'll jump right back here. But I believe they'll probably let this go, let guys use the bathroom, whatever. Maybe cut the, track time with a minute left. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but I would imagine the whole 5 minutes will be used. We'll see here, but I may be false. I may be giving you false information. I may be dragging over from the Full Throttle Motorsports League. Of course, Ron, that is what you pay to see, man. I mean, how long did we support little Mikey out there? You brought him up for this. You raised him for your Thursday night racing, and he's got to deliver. So I understand. Maybe not fair to Mike, all the pressure we're putting on him, but hey, somebody's got to deliver. Pressure makes diamonds. We need Mike to make some diamonds out here tonight. Oh, we got... Get nasty. Now, oh man, that's not... No, that can't... That's not Sean or Tyler, is it? I should know that name by now. My apologies for not knowing it. Yeah, but see, Ron, the hobby, I've been doing that all night, and that interferes with itself, because I almost forget that it's time for that. Sometimes you just get a little forgetful. That's all. But man, when you go out there and you... Oh, my God. I don't even want to think about golf anymore, but when you go out there and you double bogey every par 3 you come across on the day, you need to do something. Oh, Devin Howard. What? Dude, you need to change that, man. You ain't gonna get nasty anymore. I mean, come on. Can you even do that, Devin? That's a good question. You might be get nasty forever now. You better hope I don't remember that, dude. I'm gonna start calling you nasty on Sundays. I'm not going to call you the Big Slow anymore. Oh, man, I got to say that out loud. I really hope I remember that, Devin. I'll call you Big Nasty from now on. On Sundays, there we go. All right, let's take a look at your Shaggy TV Pro late model starting lineup. Row 7 to the outside, the 38 of Adam Flieger to the inside, the Mayor in the 75, Steve Bixler. Row 6 to the outside. The 444 of Scott Rayone to the inside, the 21 of Blackjack, John Tobias. Row 5 to the outside, the 26 of Chase Matsko to the inside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row 4 to the top shelf, the 390 of Mike Brewer. Pressure's on, Ron says tonight. And to the inside, that 83 of the Spider Monkey. Your pole winner, Brandon Dittmer. Row 3 to the outside, the 16 of the Barber from Canada, Matt Barber. To the inside, the 23 of Bart William Watson. Row 2 to the outside, the 051 of Putt Putt, Clay Christopherson. To the inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row 1 for your Pro Late Model Shaggy TV feature at the Hughes Speedway. To the outside, the 075 of the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux. And starting on the pole, the 32 of the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. His drivers pace around one more time. Oh, okay, so you have a derby team. All right. Well, you know, I mean, sometimes you got to pick. You know, sometimes you're presented with that choice. Where it's Full Throttle Motorsports or Get Nasty Motorsports. Sometimes it's a broadcaster you never even met who presents you with that choice. And, you know, it's up to you now. Ball's in your court. Because I'll tell you, here we're a little busy. The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. We've got 30 laps to play in the clay. Your A-main is underway. Good jump there for the Philly Flyer, doing what he does best. Flying on that high side, trying to get the speed rolling. What can Trevor do here? Trying to bring momentum, get it at the line. He does by a nose, but Anthony Morano working that bottom. Not going to go away easy as the driver of the 32. Slide job for the lead. The Philly Flyer cuts to the inside. Give it to the 32 at the line. As Trevor throws a little slide job. Anthony cuts underneath. Right back across the nose. And I'll tell you what, Brandon Templeton getting big eyes here. Oh, he's involved. Little contact. There's the Philly Flyer. Cuts underneath. Brandon Templeton going to lose a spot. Maybe two. Caution flag waves here at the Hughes Speedway. Adam Flieger. Ooh, he's missing a nose here. Let's see what happened to the driver of the 38. So Adam driving it in here. We see the mare coming up across. He tightens up, gets into the side of the 38, who then gets hard into the outside wall. Adam Flieger gonna do a roll here. Let's see, is it only one? No, two. Able to land on all fours there, and let's see, could he drive it into the pits? No, I don't think he could. Gonna have to tow that thing, and that's gonna be tough. There for the driver of the 38. But Anthony Morano out front. Oh, Full Throttle Motorsports on top. I dig it. I dig it, Devin. Because I'm a piece of crap. I would have picked the real life team probably. And, you know, maybe John, Steven, the boys at Gambler don't want to hear that, but put me back in that real life race car again, man. Oh, man. I probably bail on y'all, too. Oh, man, that's a fix unlike any other. Anthony Morano on the inside here, getting ready to bring us back to the green flag here at the Hughes Speedway. Rolling down that backstretch for the final time as you see the Steve King Foundation Pace Trucks lights are out. Hit that inside. Shoot down pit road, and whenever all four tires are off the racing surface, the Ant-Man can hit that throttle and drop it. He lets it loose. We're back underway. 31 of Brandon Templeton trying to hitch a ride here, trying to make a move up the P2. B-Temp has a lot of speed, man. You can see him trying to make it work earlier, but that contact kind of forced him back. And timely caution let him keep his spot. Now Templeton trying to work here, but Trevor, too big a run on that top shelf. And the Philly Flyer trying to set his sights on his teammate in the 32 as Barber. See a little bit of contact there. Brandon Dittmer and Dean Reynolds, I think, but Dittmer saves it, keeps it straight in the 83. Gonna stick her back down low on the bottom. Try looking for some real estate under that 79. Too expensive right now, though. Not gonna make it work. And Philly Flyer, as close as he's been here to the Ant-Man, he's reeling him in. Maybe gonna have some lap traffic, some help here as Adam Flieger out in front. The Ant-Man blinking a little bit as you see him disappear on your leaderboard and come back. No harm, no foul. He's back. Everything all good. Definitely not a big deal, you know, right now. Not close racing, but there you see the 31 of Brandon Templeton. He gets in the outside wall. That allows Chris Christopherson to try to sing a tune down there on the bottom. What can he do? Thin line, but if anybody can hit it, it's that 51. But man, oh man, you just got to float up. You got to carry that momentum. And 51 not able to do that there out of 4. You can see he's just got to get up there in line. He knew bottom 3 and 4 can't do it. Can maybe flirt with it here in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4, man, I got to figure something out. Let's see, he's stuck back on the bottom now because Brandon Templeton's stuck behind a lap car. Using a little pick there is Clay Christopherson. B-Temp ain't gonna like that, but it's smart driving by the 51. And man, just gotta go where they're not. And Clay does that, finds himself now at the bottom of a Full Throttle Motorsports podium. Can he hold off Brandon Templeton here as we come across the line? This time by, we're going to see those cross flags halfway. 15 to go. Let's watch him here from turn 1. You can kind of see how spaced out they are. We let them go by. So Anthony comes in, 2.5 gap. Then we've got Trevor and his teammate right behind him. Putt. Then it kind of gaps up a little bit. You see 4th through 6th, pretty close. There's William Watson, that 6th place driver. We got Mike Brewer kind of reeling that group in. He's been watching the battle and going on in front of him. So let's hop in. Let's ride around with Mike for a lap. See Brewer working it as close to that hill as he can, man. I mean, you can see there, he bump. Hits the bump coming off the corner and it lifted up a little bit. You know, that's gonna buck that car around, gonna unsettle it. You're gonna lose some speed doing that. May feel like, you know, it's helping me hook up, but in a place like this, not really gonna help you. And man, Anthony Morano, he don't need no help. 2 seconds out front. Dude's gone. Somebody call a doctor here for the Philly Flyer because he is gonna need some life resuscitated into him here if he wants to run his teammate down. 1.8 seconds back the road, 9 laps to go. William Watson working to the outside of the barber here. What can he do? America versus Canada. Canada's winning at the moment. That's Matt Barber. Not the highest running Canadian at the moment, though. The Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux, currently P2. Going to take that honor. Only 2 Canadians in the race this morning, tonight here out of team drivers, and both in the top 5. So Canada, man, they're showing they can dirt race here with the best of them. Good showing by the Canadian boys. Is Anthony Morano working under blackjack here. John Tobias trying to put him a lap down. This brings us to 5 laps to go as Anthony Morano only wants to see 2 more flags, the white and the checker. We'll have to see how it's going to go for the Ant-Man. We're going to keep our eye on, though, this battle for P2 because Clay has gotten close. And although he may not want to try and make a move here on his teammate, Brandon Templeton may force that hand because you see the 31 there kind of creeping up in that background. He's trying to inch his way on up in the conversation here for the podium. And now Blackjack with a little bit of a mistake here, just trying to get out of the way of the drivers. Maybe not feeling as comfortable there on the bottom, but he gives them the high side. And Trevor looking to see this white flag fly this time. the battle for P2, but it's all Anthony Morano out front, and that's what it's been since we took the green flag. Anthony started up front, gonna finish there. He takes the checker flag and brings it home at the Use It Speedway, followed by the Philly Flyer, Putt Putt, B-Temp, and the Barber, your top 5. Good run by the boys here at Use It's. 1 caution. Man, I'll tell you what, sometimes I want to smash this $140 microphone. I'll tell you what, cutting out on me while I'm talking. Not sure where it lost it, but I guess I get too loud and it makes it a little bad here and cuts it off. But give them their podium, man. Congratulations to the FTM boys. They get their little salute there, and I mean that's a pretty dang good race, and I think they're all going to be pretty pumped to come up here and give us their interviews. See if we can get a word here with the driver of the 051 Putt Putt, Clay Christopherson. If they weren't in their locked FTM Discord, I would go over and do the interviews in their Discord. Shame on you guys for not counting me as a full FTM driver yet. You know, just giving me privilege in there. The plan is to just, for everyone out there, just to shame them until I have, pretty much every Discord right that there is imaginable over there. And then I can release all those fast setups to the world and, do the world a service. We'll figure out why FTM is so good. And, it can't be their talent. It's got nothing to do with practice, doing a lot of laps. It's definitely the setups. And, maybe I'll one day go over there, be able to hunt them down, find them. Let's see here. What is Putt Putt doing? He can't act like he didn't have Discord on. I saw him in the FTM Discord. Oh, that dirty dog. He left the FTM General. Where'd he go? All right, well, shame on you, Clay, for not showing up here. All right, don't lie for him. I saw him in your FTM Discord. Where'd he go?
I have no idea what he's doing, man.
Yeah, well,
I have no idea.
Tell him I said to, you know what? I sponsor this. Go to hell, Clay. That was messed up. But, hey, Trevor, man, you bring home P2. How you feeling, dude? It seemed like you had a real good battle going on there, but caution flag flew at, awkward time, and then it seemed like Anthony, once, that pressure was off, man, he was able to just kind of extend that gap. I know it's not fair to you, but that's the way racing goes sometimes. How'd you feel about it, though?
Oh, good, man. Overall, great night for me personally, and of course the team. This is definitely, I know this track kind of gets a lot of hate, I find, but this is one of the tracks where I kind of feel pretty comfortable at for being fairly new. Set ourselves up good in the heat. I think I won it, and so started outside pole and kept it out here. It's one of those tracks I kind of wish it was a little more racy, but track position is important here. You kind of you start out front, you got a good chance of starting or finishing out front. But me and Anthony duking out there for a couple laps, a couple sliders. It was fun. Just trying to, I was just trying to make it a little fun. I knew he was gonna get her done tonight at least. I saw Clay coming too. It's I thought I was done there, but once Anthony's out front here, he's kind of hard to beat. So I kind of knew coming in the feature, I was like, okay, I'll hopefully get a second, get talked to my guy Shaggy here, and here I am.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, you can probably see what I wrote. Don't say it, but I had to message Clay there in your Discord. But it seemed like, and Ron and I were talking about it, Mike's dad in the chat, and man, it just seemed like Dino had mentioned it a little bit that and well, you touched on it. Starting position, everything, man, here at Huset's. Do you think that's why we saw such hard race in there in the heat races?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can even tell you right now, I pushed it a little, probably, a little harder than I usually do just to get that, outside pole. And you finished second. I think you were starting fourth. So even then, it's not terrible. You're on the outside preferred lane, but if you start burying yourself here in qualifying and burying yourself in the heat, it's gonna hurt, especially here. There's other tracks you can get away with it and be fine, but here I don't. In my experience, it's really one of those tracks where if you're starting up front, you're doing good. So it's and I've started mid pack here before in mods and late models, and it's tough, man. There's not a lot of passing going on. It just happened to me in the big blocks. Buried myself and started, I don't know, 8th or 9th or something, and that's where I finished. There wasn't much going on, and that's just the way it is. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, wish it was a little more racy, but either way, it's a fun track to race on, especially in these pro lates. It's super fun, and yeah, man, good night overall. Got the win in the 358, so big time. Stress relief there to get my first win with the boys here, and I think I got like 8th or 9th in the big blocks or something, and then FTM top 3 here, so we'll definitely take it all day.
Damn you! You took that's what I was gonna say to you as the last words. An FTM top 3. You steal my thunder, you jerk! Congratulations, man. That was a heck of a run for the team. A lot of fun to watch, man. Who you want to thank before you get out of here?
Yeah, man. Anytime you're finishing second, but your team is on the podium, that's a win. So we'll definitely take
Ron
it.
is Mike's uncle, by the way. So sorry about that, Ron. You don't want to.
Oh, is it?
You don't. Yeah. He doesn't want to claim Mike. He's his uncle.
Well, I think he was congratulating me on a run there. So thank you, Ron, for that. And yeah, just gotta thank all the guys here at FTM. It's a great group to be a part of. The guys know how badly I wanted my first one, and finally got it. So thanks to those guys for being supporting me. I kind of felt like I was never gonna get one, so to finally get one, it feels good. So thanks to those guys. Great team, great group of guys. Shout out Anthony, shout out Clay. Great runs to those guys. Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, always love that guy. Thank you, Dean. Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, Swan Speed Shop, Vertex Graphics. I'm forgetting guys, but everyone who makes this stuff possible. Thank you, Shaggy, very, very much for sponsoring these pro lates. You know how much that means to us. So yeah, we really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone at C2C for putting this stuff on for us.
I'll tell you what, I may suck at them, okay, but these things are fun to drive, and I do, these are kind of a staple, man. I know we don't have the crowds we used to have here for these, but man, you can drive one of these. I think it's got characteristics of a little bit of everything. I really like this thing. It's a lot of fun to watch, and man, you guys put on a good show once again. Hell of a job, Trevor. I know it's not this league, man, but this Sunday, dude. 100 laps. We excited about it? Lots of guys in this race are going to be over there at Oswego, man. How are we going to play that thing Sunday?
Sunday? What's Sunday?
That FTM league. It's your championship.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was our championship night, but is it 100 laps at Oswego?
100 lappers. Starts at 5 o'clock, brother.
Oh, that should be real fun. I'm not a huge fan of Oswego, but I mean 100 laps anywhere is a blast if you ask me. Tire saving comes into play, and really brings out the big boys. So
yeah. Now with it being 100 laps, do you think there's a chance anybody goes with a small block, or do you think it'll be a big block? I'm gonna ask Anthony. I'm gonna ask Anthony the same thing. I just didn't know.
Yeah, ask him, honestly. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, that track's going to be so blown off. I mean, you probably could get away with a 358, honestly, but Anthony's probably your guy to answer that one for sure.
Yeah, kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking guys like Sam Bachman will throw a surprise, maybe go in that small block, but we'll see. Anyways, congratulations, Trevor. Good run, man. Can't wait to talk to you again, brother.
Thank you, Shaggy.
The Philly Flyer bringing home P2, and now we're going to let's hear it. There we go. Quick time. The Ant-Man. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. It looked like we had a battle on our hands But then a caution flag flew, and you said, all right, Trevor, I know you want this first win, but, man, it ain't going to be here. You drove away, dude. 2-second lead. How are we feeling, man? Are you pushing the wrong button by any chance, Anthony? Because I see you're lit up. Go check your mic settings. You're lit up like you're talking, but I don't hear you. Discord's been doing that to me when I hop from room to room sometimes, unrecognizing my mic, and I have to go in there to my sound settings. Wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened to him. Now, I can see you turning green. Let's see here. We got nothing but time. Let the man work with it a little bit. I mean, what's the rush, ladies and gentlemen? Just chill out. Ron, no, man. Now's the time, dude. We gotta give you the Discord. You know, maybe.
Okay, how about now?
Oh yeah, we got you now.
There
I was
we
just digging at Ron. He's got a lot to say. You know, I accidentally called. Made him claim Mike as Ron being his father. He chimed in real quick. He said, "No, I'm the uncle," and got a lot of stuff to say about Brewer. I'm gonna have some fun. We're gonna get Ron in the booth here one of these weeks, I think. But Anthony, man, dude, you heard what I said there. I mean, it looked like you were gonna have your hands full, but the caution flag waves, and then man, you just hit another gear that nobody else had. And I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, you even started to take it a little easy there at the end, and you were rolling, dude. 2 seconds up the road. I mean, how good did the car feel?
Yeah, it felt real good. That's the serious downfall with the you have to wait till the green flag comes out on the initial start. I couldn't drive in deep in 1 and 2 and try to just work my way across and be able to run the line I wanted to run without parking it on Trevor's nose too much. But he did get his first win on as an FTM driver this week, so he did get it at the 358s tonight.
That doesn't count. I wasn't there. I don't count that.
Okay, gotcha. Then yeah, I'll just have to keep locking them out as long as I can.
That's the only one I didn't watch, man. Way to look like a dummy. So that makes sense as to why Trevor he alluded to kind of winning tonight, but I didn't pick up on what race it could have been in there because I knew you were talking. There I kind of want to ask you about him too there, just because he doesn't race in these a lot. Dude, how shocked were we seeing the Spider Monkey go out there and qualify P1? I mean, Brandon Dittmer never runs these things, and it just seemed like, man, maybe tonight was going to be his night. I mean, you talked to him about how good he was in the big block earlier, good run out of him. What's it like seeing him out here in a late model?
You definitely don't see Dittmer out here very much in the late models. Love for him to come out more. I know we got a lot of seat time running Hometown Heroes last season here, so I know he knows the track pretty good. He knows where the lines are going to be, so it gives him a huge advantage over most of us. So, but yeah, I didn't get to watch the big block race. I had dog duty, so I know he won. So big, tip of the cap to him beating. He beat Bart and Dino there, and so that's definitely never a small feat to do. Bart's pretty damn quick, you know that. So yeah, I mean, with the late model though, I mean, I knew it's going to be bottom 1 and 2 and top and 3 and 4, so I just needed to get to that lane as quick as I could and just hit my marks and trying to go airborne into corners, hitting the lip on going into 1 and stay out of the wall in 4 and keep it nice and straight, and away I go.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. Bottom 1 and 2, top 3 and 4. Did you kind of figure that out in practice, or is this kind of a characteristic of this track? Because I honestly, man, I thought you guys would be beating down the top the whole way around. I was kind of surprised to see you work in both lanes.
I actually found that in a non-wing 360 race here with Coast to Coast last season. It's worked pretty good so far every time I've come here, so I just figured I might as well stay with that. It doesn't really matter what the cars. There's the most bite down on the bottom 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 if you're not up top. It seems to be a bit of a struggle on exit. So just keep the momentum that way and just don't screw up turn 1 on the inside, and you'll be fine.
Well, man, you did exactly that, and you look damn good tonight. I mean, walking out at a racetrack like this with lap traffic to a 2-second lead says a lot about that speed you had tonight, Anthony. Hell of a run, man. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
I gotta thank my wife, Sherry. The boys are there at FDM. The Super Dare Car, Swan Speed Shop, High Mom Lens, DJ Sim Shop, Vertex Graphics, Expert Installation, Shaggy TV. Shaggy, you for sponsoring the late models here and broadcasting so I can go back and watch, and everyone behind the scenes at Coast to Coast.
Yeah, hey, man, I got one more thing to ask you before I kick you out of here. I asked Trevor the same thing. No, it's not the same league, but plenty of guys in this race here are going to run that on Sunday. 100 laps, man, at Oswego. I know it's a bigger racetrack, but boy, oh boy, man, 100 laps, that's a lot of work on that track. Any thought of coming out there in a small block this Sunday, or are we big block the whole way?
I would go big block, but I'll be at work, so I'm not going to be there for it. I'm going to miss it.
Oh, man, that's right. I forgot you started that new job. Darn it. I didn't mean to bring up bad memories, Anthony.
Yeah, killing me.
Well, hey, man, at least you got the win here tonight, and can't wait to talk to you again, brother. You know you're a lot of fun out there. You always put on a good show. Great job tonight, man.
Thanks a lot, Shaggy.
Yeah, man, Anthony Morano bringing home the checkered flag here to cap the night for Thursday Night Thunder on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. If you're still here, well, thank you for tuning in, sitting through all that BS, listening to me gossip with my friends. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV saying have a good night, and we'll see you next Monday. For what do we call Monday Night Madness? Oh, drawing a blank. My man Marty will be here. Maybe I'll show up and race a little bit. Who knows? But until then, have a good one.